The time is exactly 8:32 a.m. South African time, with an ache in my heart. But I'm talking about a nice kind of ache. Ache and yearning, and aching and a yearning to be in the Holy Lands. We cross over to the Holy Lands to speak with Sister Shireen Davids Dadamia. Alhamdulillah, they have just completed their Hajj. She's going to talk to us about the beauty of Hajj 2022. Undoubtedly, as we all know, when we are in the Holy Lands, due to the large crowds and all the other logistical issues around Hajj, that you do also encounter challenges. But let's talk to Shireen Dadamia about her. The beauty of her Hajj 2022 and what she's going to be sharing, the precious, the magical moments with all of us here in South Africa. Assalamu alaikum to you, dear Sister Shireen. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sister Julie?
With your du'as, alhamdulillah, and may it go well for all of us, for the Hujjaj who are busy packing up and making their way home, inshallah, knowing that each and every one of you have included us in your du'as. Hajj
Most
2022,
definitely.
Ameen. Hajj 2022, what can you tell us about your amazing journey of a lifetime?
Okay, all I can say, it was a total journey of a lifetime, starting from the time that we got accredited, came as a total surprise, not expected whatsoever. Alhamdulillah that Allah Ta'ala has accepted us in this holy land of His. It was an amazing journey from the offset, but mine started off with a bang. Coming to Medina was one of the most beautiful, serene places that we've seen. Alhamdulillah, being present in the company of the Roda of our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where he has passed away, many historical places. If I can urge every young Muslim out there, all our Muslims, make intention, make dua, make niyyah to come to this beautiful place to fulfill that fifth pillar of Islam. It wasn't an easy journey, but it was a beautiful, beautiful journey. First of all, Medina, then we reached Makkah. On reaching Makkah, the first day into Makkah, I've got news that my dad has passed away, which
Oh,
was
inna lillahi wa
obviously,
inna ilaihi raji'un.
yes, it wasn't a damper on my side, but it was very heartbreaking. The Hujaj around me was amazing, amazing support from the team, especially to Sahuk. I must really, really thank them so much of shukr. Sahuk has put so much effort into getting me to where I am today. I've encountered a lot of difficulties on the road, but that was more due to my health. My health has deteriorated over the time that I was here, coming as a healthy person. But with Sauk's team, Dr. Razia, Dr. Nazli, Shaheen Isup, and to mention a few, actually to mention all of them, they have stood by my side back and call. I've been on trips like 4 to 5 times, right?
Okay,
I wouldn't say that's a
I hope that
downside.
you are I hope that you are on the mend now. And how challenging was that for you? Alhamdulillah, it's great to hear that you had the amazing support of Sahuk and possibly other Hujaj as well. But
Mhm.
how challenging was that for you in completing all your, all your Hajj faraid, for example?
Okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. The heat was challenging. We South Africans are not used to this heat, but Allah, is His infinite mercy is so great. Like I say, being on a drip almost every week, the minute I come out of that drip, it's like Allah has given me a new lease on life. Having that new lease on life, I could go and perform the tawaf, for example. The other day, I did a tawaf after we finished Muzdalifah. We had to do our ifada. Then my husband said, with my health, do your ifada and do your wida, and let's do everything one time. I just came off a drip, and it's like being on Muzdalifah, had to sleep for about 5 minutes, being exhausted, tired. Being in the tents of Arafah was challenging. The heat was the heat was excruciating, but we managed to get through, managed to make dua, and in that I sort of got sick. And when I got to Muzdalifah, I just slept for 5 minutes, and everybody told me about sleeping on Muzdalifah. What happens to you on Muzdalifah? And wow, I've experienced it. I've seen it. And I was like, wow, within 5 minutes, I was up, ready to move again, and moved with the crowd, got back to Mina, and then stayed in Mina, and then we were ready to go do our ifada, our wida. Husband says, do wida in case you get sick. And it was about, all in all, we must have walked about 20 kilometers for the day with,
Okay.
with everything
Right.
barricaded off. It's like nothing is straightforward this year. It's not like going from the hotel to the haram, because there's a lot of detours. Obviously, the government has its reasons for that, and because of the structures that's being up. So, but we made it. Coming back again, I took a relapse, and alhamdulillah, yeah, I am today, alive and kicking.
Alhamdulillah.
You know?
Okay, so in terms of the fact that you had these health challenges, at any time, and I'm sure when you're in the Holy Land, it doesn't matter what you're going through, you just want to persevere to get your Hajj done. I'm sure
Oh,
that is
definitely,
uppermost on your mind.
definitely, 101%. 101%. The only part that I've never got to do was my last pelting of the Jamarat, which my husband did. He did the proxy. But alhamdulillah, it was very, very hard so, very hard so that I couldn't do it, because all I can say is Allah was with me every step of the way. When I believe in the miracles of Allah, I've seen it happen here in the Holy Land. My husband, for example, we were doing the tawaf for Ifada, and somebody knocked his glasses off his head. And in that
Ooh.
time, he lost control of me. And I said, I'm in the sea of people. Where is my husband? And the next minute, he said, Shireen, my glasses. And I said, leave that glasses. And I grabbed him basically by his throat. And I said, just leave it. We don't need it. We'll get it again. And by the qudrat of Allah, it's like Allah has opened a pool around us. The whole area opened, and somebody kicked his glasses, and he picked it up as though Allah said, pick it up. And I
Wow.
know in a place like that, if you bend down, a stampede comes and you are gone. And I thought I was going to
Absolutely.
lose my husband. But wallahi, Allah has opened, and I seen the marble floor. I watched him bend and pick up his glasses. Now, to that was a miracle. That was
Allahu
Allah
Akbar.
showing that Allah is in control of everything. And
Absolutely.
I've
Uh,
seen so many that I can tell you about. Amazing miracles, being sick and everything. It's just
I think
one.
right. The next question I'm going to ask you, and I shouldn't even be asking this question because it's kind of unfair in terms of when you ask someone what was your highlights. I guess the entire Hajj is your highlight because I remember going back, when I was there in 2014, you can't wait for your first stop. With us, we went to Medina first. For me, it looked like I was in a magical Arabian night, so to speak, when I first laid eyes on the Grand Mosque in Medina. I can't even begin to tell you what I felt like when I managed to amongst the sea of people, and when we went, obviously the crowds were in the 2 or 3 millions, that I managed to get a place on the Rhoda. I couldn't believe it. And I managed to read Salah there in the crowd, in those crowds of people. So I guess every step of the way and every new act that you need to undergo as part of your Hajj is a highlight on
100%.
its own. Is a highlight on its
Perfect.
own. But
Perfect.
what is it that stands out in your mind?
Do you know, Sister Julie, what stands out in my mind right now? There's so many that stands out in my mind. From the Rhoda to that incident to Medina to Mina was a shock for me. It was like totally a shocker, but even out of everything stands out. If I'm gonna give you one particular place, even the hospital, it was like, wow, is this the hospitals that they have in this place? All I can say, I was admitted into hospital, but wow, it was like when you talk 5 star, 5 star is not the word. The
Okay.
ministry was at my back and call throughout my stay in the hospital. The doctors was amazing. The aftercare when I was discharged, it was like this discharge room was like another room I was lying in, like I was being cared for. It was so, I can't really say that anything stood out. Everything stood out. Everything.
Alhamdulillah.
That's why
Alhamdulillah.
my urge will be, as a first time Hajji, as an elderly Hajji, first of all, when you are young, come when you are young, it is difficult. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy challenge. But when I look back after each little hurdle, it was like, it was a walk in the park. It was a total
Alhamdulillah.
walk in the park.
Okay, before I let you go, I want to ask you two more questions. One, you suggested that Mina was difficult. It was a shocker. What was it about Mina that you were unprepared for?
Okay. First of all, you've mentioned that coming to Medina was magical, right? Number one, totally magical. My mommy said the same thing. Coming to Makkah was a bit of challenging because of the constructions. It wasn't just easy going from the hotel to the haram and things like that. We had to take shuttles, prepared for that because we can understand because of the building. Coming to Mina, wow, now it's the real thing that happened. We are in the tents. First of all, when you see your mattress, it reminds you of the cupboard. It looks identical like a cupboard. You are lying next to your other fellow Hujjaj on top of each other. It's a bit scary because this is the real thing. This is now what a cupboard looks like. It's white and everything. You're next to each other, cram packed. So there's no spacing between you whatsoever. You are down to earth, and this makes you realize now I am treading in the footsteps of our beloved Nabi alayhi salam, and we are now following what Prophet Ibrahim and Hajj alayhi salam, what they were doing. So it actually takes you back to history. So my urge would also be to fellow Hujjaj, do a bit of history before coming to this land, and you will appreciate each and every step of the way.
When you
And
talk
you had
about
asked,
when you talk about Mina reminding you of the Qabr, uh, I guess that's the realization that must hit you hard, that I'm on Hajj, and hereafter Allah has given me the opportunity to be almost reborn and to start afresh, to give me a second chance at getting it right
definitely.
whilst I'm in this dunya.
Yes, I have reached death's door once. I have reached death's door once. Not gonna lie, I have done a flat line, but Alhamdulillah, Allah's brought me back. I have flatlined.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
Allah,
I mean,
Allah,
it,
Allah is
Allah
the
loved
best of
me.
planners.
Then
Absolutely.
coming on to
Okay.
Arafah.
Yes.
Okay, can I tell you a little bit about Arafah? Because they also, I landed up on a trip at Arafah. But wow, that have reminded me on the day of Qiyamah. It had remind me of Bibi Adam alayhi
Hawa.
salam, Bibi Hawa and Adam alayhi salam, how they have met. It was it's magical to think that this is where they've met after so many years of searching for each other. It's like, it was romantic. But at the same time, it reminded me of the day of Qiyamah, that this is where we're definitely going to be. And I got sick in a tent, and I told my fellow Hajj, I'm getting up on a tent on the day of Arafah, that's for sure, when I die, because that's where I spent most of my time. And when you look at the people sitting there, they look like birds sitting on trees. All this white ihram. And all I can say is, to conclude also, if I'm at a conclusion, Jazakallah to
Absolutely.
my fellow Hujjaj for being there for me every step of the way. There's a few I can name, but to name them would be unfair because it was a lot of them. My husband, he was my pillar of support. Wallahi, throughout.
Alhamdulillah.
I can say
Alhamdulillah.
that. Well, there you go.
And that's where we have to leave it. We've run out of time, but what a pleasure talking with you. Shukran for
Okay.
sharing your magical moments with us, your magical moments of Hajj. Allah, continue being with you every step of the way home, and may you and all the Hujjaj return home safely to their loved ones, and go well. Keep us still
Ameen.
in your doors in the Holy Lands.
Can I mention just one more thing? Won't even take a minute. I am wearing my cloak, my abaya, that my granny has worn 50 years ago on Hajj. I did my tawaf. My mummy's worn 20 years, and today I'm wearing it.
Subhanallah,
That is my
mashallah.
highlight.
Shukran very, very much for sharing with us. Go well. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Sister Shireen Davids Dadamia talking about her beautiful Hajj. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful to listen to her. Just transported me back to the Holy Lands. Standing by to talk to us is Professor at the Institute of Business Management in Karachi, and that's you, Professor Shaida Wizarat, about the floods in Pakistan. Please stay with us. We're going for a short ad break. When we get back, Professor Shaida will be talking to us.